I am deeply humbled by the possibility of being the first black woman ever elected to serve as governor in the United States. Being an African American woman is incredibly important to me.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, early vote. Early vote. It's less than 11 years serving the state of Georgia, and I'm ready to get the job done on day 1.
The blue tide is coming!
Yeah. I think the intensity of feeling that came about after the 2016 election has certainly lifted up Democratic energy, and that's important, but I was planning to run for governor because now is the time. And while I welcome every single Republican vote that we can garner, my focus is on the voters that share our values already. African American women have been an essential part of the Democratic Party for decades. And not only what we have seen happening in Alabama, but what happened in Louisiana to install John Bel Edwards, what happened in Virginia in 2017 to elect Ralph Northam and Justin Fairfax, what happened actually across the country when black women stood up. That can be replicated in Georgia. My mission is to engage every single voter. We are running a people-powered campaign, one that looks to build a multiracial, multi-ethnic, geographically diverse coalition. One of the reasons I'm running is because I want to change what the face of leadership looks like. And that's not simply about race or gender, it's also about the experiences we bring to the table. As someone who has talked very openly about the debt I have, I'm excited about every opportunity I have to shatter paradigms. I grew up in a working poor family that struggled to make ends meet despite getting the education that they were told they needed to have to move forward. And as someone who has had the privilege of having a strong education, I still struggle. I am very proud of my capacity to help take care of my parents and my niece who they're raising, my grandmother who lives with them. And as I tell folks, I have the ability to make payment arrangements on my taxes. The law says that we can do that. But there is no authority to defer cancer treatment. There's no authority and ability to defer a rental payment or to say that I'm not going to be able to pay for medicine.
I'm Stacey Abrams. I'm running to bring hope and opportunity to all Georgia families. Let's bring back hope. Let's put people first.
I am deeply disappointed in the lack of imagination. I believe very firmly that if my name was Steve and her name was Steve, we would be referred to by our last names, and there would never have been such a reductive approach to who we are and how we differ.
In the 18 years that I lived in Ringgold, we lived in 16 homes. Most of them trailers, some of them empty lots now. 16 homes, always one step ahead of a bill collector. Living like that affects a child. You end up looking for something that you can hold on to.
We have very different backgrounds. We have very different policy beliefs. I have very strong disagreements with my opponent. And I wish that we'd spent more time talking about those disagreements than the similarity in first names. So I was writing romantic suspense in law school, and I didn't want anyone looking up, my name and trying to find my romance novels and stumbling across my tax policy, would be sort of like reading romance by Alan Greenspan. And so I decided to come up with a pseudonym. It's based on Elizabeth Montgomery, who was Samantha on Bewitched, so I used the last name Montgomery. And if you remember, her evil twin on Bewitched was Serena. I didn't like my R's, but I liked my L's, so I made it Selena, and Selena Montgomery was born. I've enjoyed writing. I haven't written in a few years. Once I became the Democratic leader in the House and started a small business, it was just difficult to meet the production schedule for being a prolific author. I would have had to write too frequently. And I really did enjoy recently writing my first nonfiction full-length work. One of the things I love about romantic suspense was I was able to investigate so many different people's lives. But at the center were always these strong women of color who had complicated lives but still managed to find a way to make their lives make sense for them. And that's really what policymaking is about. It's about understanding that there's going to be a diversity of thought, diversity of need, but you also have to be able to tell a story about what the future can look like if you're in leadership. Whether it's trying to get a good tax policy passed or trying to get someone to go all the way to the end of a 400-page novel, you've got to be able to tell a good story that has a ring of truth and that really speaks to who they are. And so for me, policy making, public speaking, being a novelist, they're all of the same piece, because it's all about being able to tell people how you can be there for them and why they're excited to be on the ride for you. Savannah, with your help on May 22nd, I am coming for Georgia. Help me get there. Thank you so much. Thank you.